Here's how I built my own AI agent to find winning crypto meme coins on Solana. So this is how it works. All you need to do is click start here, and our AI agent will provide a list of 3 meme coins that have the most potential from the last 24 hours. You can see the top 3 Solana meme coin picks on today's date, March 15th. The first is Angel Investor. The reason is for a strong 24-hour price momentum with increasing volume and transactions with significant holder growth. Then for the second one, we have Bump Apps that has a pretty high 24-hour price jump, but it's supported with high transaction counts and strong buyer dominance. Now, one thing to note for this one here is that there's a high top 10 whale supply. What this means is that the top 10 wallets inside this coin hold over 70% of the supply, which can be atypical depending on what you're looking for out of your own picks. But we can see that there's a huge and growing holder base. And then finally, we have Launchpad with a consistent holder growth, steady volume, and sizable transaction activity. Now, it's important to note that these, again, are meme coins, so they're highly risky and typically not long-term plays. But depending on what you want out of your own AI agent, this can be a great way to find first profitable and winning meme coins. And before we continue, if you want to get this template and join an active community with full guides on building real working AI agents, including crypto and stock trading, then make sure to click the link in the description. Now, this agent was made in a no-code platform called n8n, meaning that anyone can follow along. So in the next few sections, I'll first cover a general structure on how this is made, and then I'll build it from scratch so that you can implement it yourself. Here's a super simple diagram on how this AI agent is structured. So it'll first take a list of trending meme coins, and this is based on the volume as well as number of transactions within the past 24 hours. And then we're gonna filter down that list based on our own criteria. After this, we're going to add holder data. This way we can see how many people hold the coin, whether the holders are increasing or decreasing in size. We can also see the quality of holders within the coin, so whether they are whales or small accounts. And then finally, we can see if too much of the supply is being held within a group of holders or a single holder. And this way we can send all of this raw data directly to our AI agent. So now heading back into n8n, let me go over this in a bit more detail. Like I mentioned, we're going to get a list of all the trending meme coins and then filter these out. So if we double click here, we can see that I'm filtering these out based on market cap. We want coins between 1 million and 5 million market cap here, but this is also dependent on your own risk tolerance and what you're looking for out of a trade. I find that 1 to 5 million is a good sweet spot for coins that aren't too dangerous, but also have a ton of potential for growth. And then moving on, like I mentioned, we're gonna add holder data to all of the remaining coins inside our list so that we can see how the supply is being structured and how many people actually hold the coin. Then we're gonna aggregate all this data, send it over to an AI agent, which will use its intelligence to pick out 3 of the best possible performing meme coins. Now let's go ahead and start building our AI agent. So first we need a trigger, which is what starts the whole entire workflow. Now you can use anything. This can also be on a schedule, so it runs every single day at a specific time. But just like I showed in the example, I'll use Telegram just for ease of use. And then after selecting Telegram, we want this to be on a message so that whenever we message the Telegram bot to start, the workflow will then start to trigger, and then we'll send all the data over to our AI agent. If this is your first time, just like in the previous videos of mine, you want to create a new credential, follow the steps on the screen to go ahead and connect your Telegram account. And then this will be triggered on message, and you don't need to do anything else here. And then just to make sure this Telegram trigger works, all I did was message test inside our chat. Now our next step is to get the list of trending meme coins. So like I mentioned, this is going to be determined by the highest volume as well as price action within the past 24 hours. So what we want to do is call on data from another service. That way we can get the full unfiltered list of meme coins. So click add here, and then we want to send over an HTTP request. And this is where we're going to make a separate account on a platform called Moralis. This allows us to get all Solana meme coin data completely for free. So in a new tab, head over to moralis.com, and then you want to click into the API documentations. Next, what you want to do is get your own API key. So this is going to be a custom key assigned to you that allows you to call in their services and get their Solana data. Now, I already have a free plan here, which is why I can just simply copy and paste over my API key. But since this is presumably your first time using the service, all you'll want to do is click here and register for an account. Then you'll want to select the free plan, which is pretty generous. It gives you 40,000 compute units daily. And assuming that you are running this workflow once every single day, you'll never actually hit this daily limit unless you were spamming the AI agent basically like hundreds of times. Now, after you get your own API key, just head over into the token holders API. Now you can just copy and paste my URL exactly, but just to show you how you can use their service and potentially modify this workflow a bit, this is what you want to do. So first click into the Solana API, and then you'll want to scroll down to the specific service or data you want to get. So in our case, like I mentioned, we want to get all the trending tokens. So if we scroll down, we should see token discovery and trending. And all we want to do is use this method called get trending tokens, which lets you get the trending tokens from the past 24 hours on the Solana blockchain. So click into method documentation and then simply copy and paste over this get URL request. So click Control C here, head over into your workflow, and then you can paste this in. Next, inside n8n, what you want to do is now input your API keys. So you can head over all the way here to the bottom, click into send headers, and then you want to send the header of the API key, which is x-api-key. Then go ahead and copy your own API key here. I'll replace this after this video is made. Then scrolling back up, what we also want to do is send a query parameter to limit the amount of results that we get. So right now, if we were to just run this URL, it would provide us with the last 200 trending tokens, which is something we don't want. We only want a smaller list like 50 or even 25. This way we don't have to gather that much data and send over a ton of information to an AI model. So inside here, we'll just type in limit, and you can set this to be anything you want. I find 50 to be a pretty good number to limit. Now go ahead and test step to make sure that everything is working. And as you can see, we get 50 items on the Solana chain. So we have things like the chain ID, token address, name, unique name, symbol. We have the price, we have when this was created, the market cap, liquidity, holders, and this is just the number of holders. So the reason why we break out holders into its own other step is because we don't have the comprehensive data on the type of holders, what percentage of holders hold what percentage of the coin, etc., things like that. All we have is this one single holder's number. So this is where we'll circle back and get a little bit more data. But below this, we have the percentage decreases or increases in the past 1 hour, 4 hour, 12 hour, and 24 hour. Same thing for volume. Same thing for transactions, buy transactions, sell transactions, number of buyers, and number of sellers. Now, this might look like a lot of data, but remember again, we're sending this all to an AI agent, and we want them to have as much information as possible to provide us with the best solution as well. So by providing all these different data points like holders, price, transactions, volume, they'll be able to use all of this information and then provide us with their top 3 picks on what we should potentially buy. So just looking at this list now, as I mentioned, we have the top 50 trending coins of the last 24 hours, but we want to filter out this list a bit more because again, we don't want to send over 50 coins to our AI agent. It's going to take forever for them to first read through the data. And it's also not going to be as accurate because we can just manually filter things we don't like ourselves. So go ahead and click plus here, and what we can do is add an if node. Now this part is completely up to your discretion. I like the market cap between 1 to like 5 million-ish, but if you want to be a bit riskier, you can even do things like 100k to 500k market cap just for quick scalps or even potential moonshots on Memecoins. But just for consistency's sake, I'll do market cap between 1 and 5 million. So drag over market cap, and then we can do first whether it is less than 5 million. And then we want to add another condition, the same exact thing for market cap, but this time we want this to be greater than 1 million so that we can capture everything in between that little pocket of ranges. So here we'll do is greater than, and then we'll select 1 million. And then just as a smaller filter, what we can also add is some liquidity. So what we can first select is the liquidity in US dollars. And again, this can be up to your discretion, but I'll do something like 40,000 just to remove any stragglers or potential rugs on things that just have no liquidity at all. So let me just change this to is greater than 40,000 US dollars. And then finally, we only want Solana coins. So add one final condition. We will do chain ID here. And we want this equal to, so exactly Solana. Now, if we test this step, we go from 50 items. So let's see what we have in our filtered list. Now we have 5. So in the true branch, we have 5 Solana coins that are between 1 and 5 million in market cap and have above 40,000 in liquidity on the Solana chain. So that means that 45 coins didn't pass the test, unfortunately, and we can't consider them to send over to the AI agent. Now, again, this is completely up to you. So if you want a greater range that could possibly be evaluated, simply go ahead, either change this to like 200 items if you want a bigger trending list, or you can adjust your if node here to be a bit less picky in terms of the types of coins that you want. So now, just to give you a visual representation, what we're doing here is just getting all the data from the trending coins, and we have 5 meme coins left. Next, what we'll want to do is add the holder data to those 5 meme coins. Now, this section is a little bit more complex than the previous one, but let me explain every single step along the way so that you understand why we're doing everything we are doing. So the first thing we'll need to do is something called split and batch or loop. And the reason for this is because of those 5 items, we want to get holder data for each of them, right? But we can't get holder data for each of the 5 items all at once. We have to do it one item at a time. So that's why we need a loop. So we'll do one item, loop, one item, loop, one item, loop, vice versa until we finish all the items. And again, it's dynamic. So it could be 5 items. It can also be 7, 8, depending on how you filter this list. So the first thing we'll do is connect this to the true part of if. So again, true means that we satisfied that criteria. We don't want to connect this to false because these are the 45 coins that don't fit our criteria. We only want to apply this to the 5 that do. And then from here, just type in split in batch or loop over items. Next, you'll want this batch size to be 1 because again, you want to attach holder data to each of these coins one at a time. So here we have 5 coins that we need to do. So it's going to run this 5 times. Next, we're going to replace this node here with another HTTP request that again gets the holder data, and we'll do it one at a time. So that's why we're going to loop it once. So now, just like last time, we're going to use Morales once again, but rather than getting trending tokens, what we want to do is get the token holders instead. So on this left-hand section here, just simply type in get token holders, and then select get token holder stats. And then next, just like before, we're gonna copy over this URL. So hit copy here and head back over into n8n. Now inside n8n, what we wanna do is replace this node. So delete this, and then we'll add in another HTTP request. Next, what we wanna do is execute the previous nodes. So we have all the input data here, and then paste over the URL. Now this part is important. Rather than it saying colon address here, we can go ahead and delete this and then physically drag in this token address rather than having it be fixed. So this is dynamic, meaning that each time we run this batch again and again and again, this token address is going to change 5 times to hit all 5 of the different types of coins we're going to have in our list. And then again, just like last time, click send headers, add x-api-key, and then paste in your API key. After you paste in your API key, go ahead and test the step, and we should now see all the token holder information on the right hand side. So first we have total holders, then we have holders by account, holder change, so in the past 5 minutes, 1 hour, 6 hours, 24 hours. Holder distribution, we see the number of whales holding the token. So this is accounts worth over $1 million. We have sharks, dolphins, fish, octopus, and then shrimps, which again are, as you would imagine, tiny accounts with less than $100. Next, we have the top 10 holders and what percentage of the supply they hold, top 25, top 50, and top 100. Now, one thing you might notice inside this output is that there's actually no other information. So it's great that we have this holder data here. We have the total holders, all the other things I went over, but now we lost all this information. So we don't have the token address, we don't have the name, we don't even know what all this data is being tied to. So that's why we need to add a set node just to combine all this data together so that whenever we run this workflow again and again, each time we run this loop, it's going to attach the name to this holder data so that we're not kind of like confused on what this is referring to. So as a next step here, just go ahead and click add. And what we want to do is select set node. Now this part's going to be a little bit tedious, but what we want to do is drag over all the fields that we want to include along with the holder data. So we don't need to drag over any of this holder data. So go ahead and collapse this. But what we do want to do again is drag over important information that ties the holder data to that account. So first we need the token address, then next we need the name. So drag in the name, market cap. And here I basically just dragged over everything. So we have sellers, buyers, transactions for sells, buys, and all of the other data points. So what I did is basically drag over everything. And then finally at the end, what you want to do is include other input fields. This is important because this will then include all the HTTP request fields. So this is all the holder data. So now if we test the step on the right hand side, we can see we have all the holder data. But now if we scroll all the way down, we also have the names, market caps, and all the other data attached to it combined. So rather than only having holder data, at the end of the holder data, what we have now is the token address, name, market cap, liquidity, and all these other data fields. And then now to test out this workflow, let's see if this loop works. So we can see that it's going to loop 4 times and we have 4 items here. So at a high level, we had a trending list of 50 different tokens. We had 5 items that passed the test, but I guess one of them fell below the market cap needed while I was making this video. So now it's 4. And then of those 4 items, we're going to run this loop 4 times. And each time we run the loop, we get all the holder data, volume attached to the actual token so that we can send all the final data to an AI agent. So here inside this output, we can see that the loop technically ran 5 times, the 5th one telling us that it ended. So it ran 5 times for 4 items. And then if we go to the JSON, we should see all the 4 items. So now looking at this at a high level, we're first getting all the data from the trending coins, filtering them out, and then we're adding holding data to those filtered coins. And just to show you that everything is dynamic, let's go ahead and change our filter. So maybe rather than having all of these market cap filters, we can do is greater than 100,000. So now testing out this workflow one more time, we can see that there's 21 items that now fit within the criteria, and this loop will now run 21 different times. So if we double click into here, we have an output with a done branch of 21 items, so a ton of different data. But again, because we're labeling everything inside this edit field section, we're first getting the holder data and then combining that holder data with the information from before so that all holder data has the other token data attached to it, which is price, volume, and everything else in between. Now, what I'm going to do is change this back to 1 million rather than 100,000 because I don't want to send over 21 different items to our AI agent. But again, feel free to if you want to. It's probably better since you have a more comprehensive list for the AI agent to read through. But because this is just an example, I will change this back to 1 million. And then now let's test out this workflow to get our new filtered list. So I'll send test over inside Telegram, and this should now run 6 times with 6 different items. Now we have 6 items here, but what we want ultimately is one single item to send to our AI agent. So add in one final node called aggregate. And all this is going to do is combine these 7 items or 6 items, I should say, into one. So click all item data into a single list. And then rather than having this 7, we only have 1 item here with all the information attached. So nothing really changed. It just aggregated it into a single JSON output that's easy for the AI agent to read. Now you can consider the data gathering portion of this workflow complete, and we can send all this information now to the AI agent, which will read through it and do the heavy lifting of determining which is the best to buy. So here, go ahead and select Advanced AI and we'll do AI Agent. Next, we'll need to set both the system and user prompts. So here, go ahead and change this to defined below. And we can first work on this user message. So click expression, open this up, and then you can copy this exactly, or you can form your own prompt. But what I've written here is that here is the array of token data. So this is between 1 million to 4 million market cap. Change this to 1 million. And then what we want to do is actually send over the data so that they can read it. Super simple, drag over the aggregated data. Again, this is just one single item. And then because this is not in string format, as you can see, it just says object, what we can do is just type in json.stringify, and this will transform all that JSON data into a text string here so that the AI model can now read it. Then below, what I've written is that each object includes first the holder data, so all the holder data in the beginning, the symbol, the name, the token address, market cap, liquidity, price percentage change for 1 hour, 4 hour, 12 hour, 24 hour, same thing for volume, same thing for transactions. And then again, I'm going into a bit more detail on the holder data. So we have total holders, holder distribution, supply, top 10 supply percentage, holder change. And then what we want them to do is review and output a Telegram ready alert. And then what we have here is the top 3 Solana meme picks for today's date. And then below, we're just giving them an example of what we want to see. So first is the symbol and then the reason, citing the price spike, volume surge, holder spread. Those are just examples, which we'll clarify in the system message. But what we do want to include is the contract address, so we know which coin the correct one is. And then we will again want proper line breaks and bolding, just so we can read the Telegram message. And we'll do this 3 times. But again, all this is dynamic, and depending on your own preferences, you can only have 1 Solana meme pick, 2, even 5 if you have a large enough list. I find that 3 is fine because with 1, you don't even get to like see any variability. With 5 or 10, it could be too much coins for you to review every single day or every single hour. So I find that 3 is kind of, again, my sweet spot, but change this for how your trading styles are and how often you want to monitor the market. And then following this, scroll down. And then what we want to do is add an option for a system message. And this is a more general set of instructions for the AI model here to follow. So opening this up, what I've written is that you're a Solana meme coin quant strategist. You'll be given an array of token data pre-filtered between 1 million to 4 million. And we just want them to evaluate each token daily on first price momentum, volume and transaction momentum, holder metrics, risk factors like high whale concentration or sudden drop in holders. And then we want them to choose, again, the top 3 tokens to buy and format the answer as a Telegram message. And then finally, we just want them to know what the date is. So I just put today's date is, and then today's date in an expression. So here is kind of like the more direct prompt we're using for the AI model. And then the system message is the more general set of instructions we want the AI model to follow each single time, kind of like in the background. And then wrapping all this up, we just want to add the actual chat model. Now you can add the model of your choice, but I like OpenAI, especially recently since they have a 4.1 mini that's powerful enough, but still pretty fairly cheap to use on a daily basis or even on an hourly basis. But if this is your first time, you can create new credential, get your API key from openai.com, and using 4.1 mini is like fractions of a cent each time you call on this API. So inside openai.com, log in, get your API key, and then input it here, and then load your account with even like $1 or $2, and you should be fine for a while. So now let's test out this AI agent with our new prompts. So they have all this data on the left-hand side. If we click test step, let's see what the output is here. And awesome, we have our output, top 3 Solana meme coin picks. We have fleet, tweet DM, and then the last one is launchpad. Now this isn't going to be super accurate because we're only giving them 6 to deal with. So if we were to change this if statement back to 100,000 and then run this workflow one more time, let's see if our answers change. So now again, like I showed earlier, we had 21 items. So this should loop over 21 times, grab holder data attached to it 21 times. Now heading back into our AI agent. And then in the output, we have an updated set of coins based on a wider net that we cast in terms of the trending list. So to actually view this in Telegram, what we can do is add that as a last step. So click Telegram here. And then what we want to do is send a text message over to Telegram. Now for the message, obviously we want this output. So drag over the output inside the text. And then the chat ID is just the chat ID we use to start the AI agent. So if we collapse everything, we should see Telegram on the left-hand side right here. And then what you want to do is drag over this chat ID just so this agent knows where to send the message to. So now testing step, we should see this now populate inside our Telegram. Now here we have our top 3 Solana meme coin picks. First is tweet DM, again, not financial advice. Next is Polycule, and then lastly is XPD, based on first our criteria and then all the associated data that comes with it. And then again, these are meme coins, so they're super risky. There's other factors at play, like even a tweet from an important KOL, as you call it, or an influencer on Twitter can greatly surge prices. But what this AI agent is doing is strictly dealing with the data. So what we have here is strict price data, volume data, holder data. We're just looking at numbers here. There's nothing subjective here at play. It's gonna give us a list of meme coins that look promising, ones that aren't bundled with like 100% supply and like 2 people. And then from a list, which you can make as wide or narrow as you want, then you can perhaps do a bit more deeper research on Twitter or any other groups that you might have to come up with your final answer or suggestion on what to buy. Now, if you found this video helpful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content specifically around building AI agents and how to best use AI in your life. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, if you do want to join an active community of AI builders, make sure to click the link in the description.